Hey guys, it's indeed our pleasure to have Sualeh as our esteemed speaker for GTR 2020, our fifth edition of Global Testing Retreat. We would like to welcome Sualeh and
You?
just say hi to him. Hi, how are you, Sualeh?
Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much. So we just want to hear a little bit about yourself. I know that you come with so much of experience in the entire area, but if you can introduce yourself to the audience, that would be great privilege for all of us.
Sure. So, Aditya, I consider myself to be a coder and a software engineer. That is what gives me the greatest happiness. And nowadays I manage a large team of people, and it becomes hard to find the time to code at work. That's how I started, but it's not possible anymore. So I spend a lot of time on the weekend and in the evening doing open source programming, learning new technologies, learning about the cloud, learning about the web, learning about various things, but also running my own open source project. The main one that I manage or run is called Schema Crawler. And what Schema Crawler does is that it allows you to get database metadata about the tables and the columns and show that in a diagram or find problems with the schema and so on. And this software has become very popular. It has been incorporated into offerings from larger companies like Goldman Sachs and PH Data and all of these. So it's being used by numerous companies around the world, and that gives me a lot of happiness. And this gives me a lot of kind of motivation to do more of it. You know. And
Awesome.
as a manager, I enjoy working with people, mentoring them, helping them grow, and ultimately bringing teams together and having teams function together to achieve something bigger than any individual can achieve.
Awesome. Swali, that is amazing. I am really inspired by your schema crawler. I'll go and check it out. I think this is something wonderful when someone gives it back to the community and it is being so used heavily. That's one of the biggest achievements somebody can do. And we are really, really proud to have you in our conference,
Thank you.
Swali. And especially with the kind of topic which is on the mutation testing, it is something which many of us actually would be very eager to learn more about. And it has become one of the hottest area in today's testing conferences and the testing parlance, I would say. But
Right.
can you talk a little bit about what exactly you're going to cover and why it is important for today's tester to be part
Sure.
of this session?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I don't need to explain about unit testing because over the years, unit testing has become part of our DNA as software developers, right? Whether you're a tester or a coder, I don't have to explain the value of unit testing to everyone. People just get it by now, right? Earlier, maybe 10, 15 years ago, we had to sit down with engineers and explain what unit testing was. So unit testing, what it does is it gives you confidence in the code that you write at a very early stage in the development process, right? It gives you line by line coverage, it gives you coverage of your logic and so on. But here's an interesting thought. If you did not write good unit tests, could you still then be confident of the quality of your code? So the question is, it's a meta question. How can you be confident of the quality of your unit tests themselves? Okay, and this is a very interesting question and something worth thinking about. So this is really where mutation testing comes in, and it helps you figure out how good your unit tests are. And that's what I'm going to go through in my talk is explain how to evaluate the quality of your unit tests themselves in an automated fashion. So my talk is going to be not slide based, not a single PowerPoint slide. It's going to be 100% code, and it's going to be a live demonstration of how unit tests can help, how mutation testing can help you
Amazing.
with your unit tests.
We're all looking forward to that. So the technology behind that, any specific language that you will be doing in this complete no slide presentation or basically the talk that you're going to do?
So So the language I'm going to focus on is Java, and I will expect the audience to know Java programming. I will expect the audience to know JUnit, and hopefully, it's a short talk, but I like audience participation. So we'll have to figure out how to get audience participation
Sure.
in that conversation. But I'll be going pretty fast given the timelines,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I'll open it out to questions.
yeah.
But unit testing tools are available for pretty much any language, whether it is C++ or Python or anything. I'll be focusing on the Java unit testing, mutation testing tool called PIT, P-I-T.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Oh, we are very excited. In fact, there are a lot many more Java developers and testers. In fact, so this would be very intriguing for everybody, even though they are probably on the automation side. But Java is something which I think more and more people are using anyways, especially the ones who are on the testing side in India. So
Mm-hmm.
we think that this would be an excellent session for everybody.
That'll be
We're looking
great. Yeah.
forward to that.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Sure. And to just ask you a little different question, at
Mm-hmm.
your experience leading such larger teams and uh, being a part of an organization which is basically so large, what keeps you going? What is your motivation on a day-to-day basis?
So my motivation is essentially teamwork and how teams can achieve more than an individual can achieve. And this is very, very interesting. So what I do on a day-to-day basis, what motivates me is get the team working together, and then you don't have to worry about the project getting done. The project will just happen automatically. And not only that, people will work together and enjoy the process of working with each other and not worry about deadlines and customers and all that. That just should happen organically, naturally, without too much worrying about it. If everyone's enjoying working together, everyone's saying, "Oh, you're stuck, let me come and help you,"
Yeah,
or "Let's go and ask that person," then that makes a really powerful way of working. And that's what motivates me, seeing that
very nice.
happen.
Very nice. I think that's an amazing thing, and I wish that anybody who is basically listening to this talk can pick this up and implement it in their own teams and projects.
Mhm.
And related to this, Swali, because of the entire pandemic, things have basically become remote. So while
Right.
you are in your own office, the teamwork is much more possible in the
Mhm.
current scenario. How do you I'm sure that there are enough virtual environments and there are team which work can be done, but how has been your experience in this teamwork changing with reference to what it was 6 months back?
Yeah, so I've been working from home since pretty much March, so it's been a long time, and the office is probably not going to open for another few months more. And this is the case in many places around the world. So I've had to switch, and like everything else, there's some positives and some negatives. And the positives that I see is that it gives me much more time with family, right? Because I'm at home, not that they disturb me during working hours, but then I don't have to, uh, after a long day at work, commute and then go home and then come home all tired. I'm at home already and ready to be with my family, right? So that is definitely a plus. And then, you have to change the way of thinking. So in every meeting, I insist on video. So even if someone says, I'm not ready yet, I'm like, you're at work, please be on video. There's a lot of communication that is lost person to person if the video is not turned on.
Yeah, yeah.
So even in a large meeting, we have everyone turn on the video, and we try to have a little bit of fun, little bit of joking, little bit of teasing each other, and try to build up that sense of community.
Very good.
And on the
That's
on the
excellent.
minus side, there are a couple of big minuses that I find is that people tend to overwork, Aditya, because when you come to office, it's basically you come in at a certain time and then you say, look, I have to go, I have to be with my family. And here you say, okay, I'm at home, just maybe another half an hour, and that half an hour becomes 1 hour, and you end up overworking a little bit. So I'm going to encourage everybody. So please keep track of your time
Right.
and don't shortchange your family. Spend time with your family as well.
We are experiencing the same thing, Swally, because we can see that it is rather than 8 hours, 9 hours now. we are working almost 24 hours because we are reachable around the clock and people expect us to respond and people expect us to work. So, but you're right, it is high time that we actually limit that time and say, look, this is my office time and this is my family time. This is how the segregation should be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the other thing
right.
is that,
Yeah,
in the office, Aditya, we could just go and meet people at the coffee machine or at the water fountain or something. You would just meet random people and have a random word or two, what is going on in their life, a cricket match, weather, whatever you wanted to talk about. That interaction is reduced.
yeah, yeah.
So I try to encourage people to do random interactions every day. Just find a random person who you know or you don't know, and just maybe try to find 5 minutes to talk to them at
Very,
random without a
that,
meeting.
that's an excellent idea also.
Yeah.
Great. So on a different note, can I ask you some different questions non-related to
Sure.
technology work and all those things? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I know that you're on the US East Coast, but we want to
Right.
really understand where do you belong and what is so special about your hometown? Anything special? Any food item that you crave for?
Right.
Something like that, if you can share, maybe on
Yeah.
the more personal side. Yeah.
So I consider that I have two hometowns, because I've spent roughly half my life in one and half my life in the other. So I consider Mumbai my hometown, and I consider Boston also my hometown. So I enjoy both cities. I like to spend time in both cities. And there's one thing common in both cities, a sense of deep history that goes on for a very long time. Boston was settled very early on by the British. And similarly, Mumbai had a very old history that goes back to Paleolithic times. It is the center of, with Elephanta caves and with the Mahim fort, which was originally called Mahikavati. Um, it has a long presence, but it was basically the British that turned it into the city it is today. So that kind of sense of history in both places fascinates me, and I spend a lot of time studying the history of Mumbai and of Bombay. In fact, I'm a life member of the Bombay Local History Society.
Wow, very nice. This is amazing, actually. I think we should take a cue here and maybe ask you to present something about Mumbai's history in one of our
I would
meetups.
love to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will do that definitely. And it is really nice to know that you are enjoying both the towns. I spent 6 years in that Boston area, so I can correlate what you're saying. Very
Right.
nice to connect with you here.
Mhm.
On your favorite food, since you are Mumbai, anything special that you love? Are you a foodie by any chance? Do
I'm
you
not.
cook?
I love food. I don't know if I would describe myself as a foodie. I love trying out new cuisines and new things. One thing that I miss a lot is soul curry, and this is a preparation found on the coastal area of India, made from kokum and coconut milk, right?
Yeah.
And it's very unique and almost difficult to get. So I spent some time in Pune, and I asked for soul curry, and I realized that it's not very popular in Pune because Pune becomes much interior than the coastal regions, and it's difficult to find over there. So whenever I come to Mumbai, I make it a point to have some of that.
Yeah, no, no, very true. In fact, there are some special restaurants in Pune which serve very good soul curry as well. Maybe we can introduce you to them when you're back in Mumbai next
Yeah,
time. We can actually travel
yeah.
down. In fact, you would be surprised that this is the first time that we are doing this conference virtual. It has been always in Pune. So wish that
Oh, I
maybe
see.
one edition you can travel down to Pune and then we can have some little cuisine out there as well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And another question that, see, we are all in the technology side. We keep on doing all the work on the technology. You do all this code development, new product development. Do you get time to watch any movies? Any specific actor that you like?
Yeah, not much actually. I have, unfortunately, I don't like to say this, but I've lost my patience with watching long movies.
Yeah.
So I tend to watch serials. In terms of actors, I, um I would say that my favorite actor would be someone who's extremely famous, Charlie Chaplin.
Mhm.
But moving on from there, I'll talk a little bit about the serials that I've been watching. I recently watched The Good Place, and I enjoyed that very much. It was a very interesting take on philosophy, done in a very humorous and lighthearted way. So if you ever get a chance to watch it on Netflix, I would recommend that serial.
Wow, very nice. We will definitely watch that. And on Charlie Chaplin, there is a movie on Sony Live, I think, which I would recommend. It is, I think, Ram Charlie. It has recently come about a
Okay.
circus actor who is basically a Charlie Chaplin fan, and he loses his job, and then it's an amazing story told by two of the finest actors. So if you get a chance, maybe
Oh,
since you talked
definitely.
about Charlie Chaplin, yeah.
I'd like to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, great. All right. So I think we probably are having a great conversation. This chit chat can continue, but I think it was fun talking to you, Swali, and we all excited to hear you out in the conference. And if there are any other opportunities, maybe we'll interact and we'll see how can we make you interact with our audience as well. We are planning for a Diwali virtual celebration. Would you be
Okay.
interested in participating in that?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to see if the times work out. I would love to be there. Yeah,
Sure. So
definitely.
it would be sometime on 7th of November, which is a
Okay.
Saturday, and it would be around the same time we are talking today.
Sure.
So if you can block your calendar, we would love to have you in that Diwali virtual celebration, and we'll actually have all the speakers come down there as well. So
Yeah, no, that'd be really
I'm just leaking the news to you for the first time. This event is being
okay.
planned as of now. We'll
Right.
probably release it out by Monday or Tuesday. All right.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, very
That
excited to
sounds very
be
exciting.
getting you in the summit in the conference with us. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate
I'm
it.
looking forward to it too. Thank you.